Friday, 10:00 weather, calendar, Facebook, image. Do not disturb flashlight.
Open Twitch.
Chat activity. Activity. Create lib. Tab. Create lib. Tab. 3 of 5. Cancel. Stream management. Manage stream. Lib. Closing. Stream manager. Lib. Stream player. Close button. Stream. Lib. Stream manager. Close out. Close out. Stream lib. Tab activity. Filter menu. Top tier track. Open widget. Open widget. On actions. Open widget. Ultimate queue. Open widget. Quick action. Open widget. Chat. Button. Open widget. Chat. Check mark. Live online under the category talk shows and podcasts. The archive description. Press escape. Shut message. Chat messages to exit.
What is up, everybody? It is Blind Metal Gamer here with you once again, along with the returning Kentucky Blue Blood. What's up, Kentucky Blue Blood?
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday indeed. And for you guys here over on Twitch, we have something special. We wanted to do something special for a lady that we both knew named Marie Braun. Now, as the title imposes, it's What's Your Legacy? Here's the story of a disability rights advocate and planning for the future. So, Kentucky Blue Blood, I'm going to let you take it away and tell the people what we're going to do today and get this thing going in earnest.
Thank you. Um, I, I always, when I think of Marie Braun, I always think of the first time I met her. And it was kind of a double whammy because I met her at the Mental Health Association Recovery Network, and she was trying to get in their building. That's where they had social activities for people with mental illness and
Mm-hmm.
alcohol dependency. But they really didn't include all people with disabilities, and I think that's been an ongoing problem. So there she was, and it's not funny, but I mean, looking back, there's irony.
Right, right,
But there she was. It was one step, and it's not accessible if it's one step, and
right.
that could have easily been remedied. But she couldn't get in. So we walked up to the point. It was about a block away. I walked up there with her, and that's how I met Marie Braun. And she just touched my heart so much. So I did write this article, and it was published by the Northern Kentucky Tribune. And
Okay.
it says by Robin Osborne, the life and legacy of Marie Braun, a story of grit, grace, and justice. In the winding hills of Sebastian Branch, Breathitt County, Kentucky, a girl was born who would later become a force for justice and compassion across Kentucky. Born in 1953 as Mary Louise Miller, Marie Braun's life began with obstacles few could imagine. Born with quadriplegic cerebral palsy in a time and place with little understanding of disability, Marie was placed in the old Frankfort State Hospital as a child. A cold, institutional setting meant more for warehousing than care. It was there in the walls of that institution that Marie witnessed an act that would shape for her for life. A staff member took the life of an infant. That memory never left her, but neither did her dream that she would not merely survive the system, but someday help dismantle it. Marie's path to advocacy was born from this trauma and her yearning for more. More love, more dignity, more life. She prayed for a family that would love her unconditionally. She wished for a day she could live on her own, free from the sterility of the institution, free to love, be loved, and contribute to the world around her. That wish slowly came true. Marie met Bill Braun in 1977 at the Ridgeview Nursing Home in Covington. I kind of laugh because I know exactly where that is. I was in there before, but I mean, it's gone now, but it's just funny.
Right, right.
Bill himself labeled mildly retarded by a society too quick to judge was a kindred spirit, a man with a quiet but unshakable belief in the rights and worth of disabled people. Together they fell in love, married in 1980, and began forging a life for purpose and protest, joy, and justice. They were often seen rolling through the streets of Covington, Marie in her chair, Bill proudly pushing beside her, challenging the assumptions of those who said they couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't. Bill encouraged Marie to find her voice. You have rights and you need to fight for them, he told her. She listened and she did. After Bill's death in 1994, Marie carried on the shared mission. She obtained her GED, earned an associate's degree at Gatewood Community College, and began traveling to workshops and training programs across the country, learning the tools of self-advocacy and sharing her mission with anyone who would listen and many who wouldn't listen. She ran the Northern Kentucky Disability Coalition, chaired the Commonwealth Council on Developmental Disabilities, and sat on boards, commissions, and councils that often didn't know what hit them when Marie rolled in. She once led the.
Ain't that the truth?
I could just see her doing this, but
I know.
she would love this, but
Oh, I know, right?
she's a legend. I mean, she's going to be like one of those, historic women in Kentucky that
Oh
shouldn't.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
anyway, she led the mayor of Covington and city commissioners on a wheelchair tour of inaccessible sidewalks. One of them even fell out of the chair during the demonstration. Marie grinned. Change came. Jeff Edwards, Kentucky Protection Advocacy Director, recalled first meeting Marie through her coalition work and later traveling the country with her. I observed her confront nursing home administrators, city managers, state officials, anyone who stood in the way, he said. She has always been part of my career and made me a better advocate. She spoke to legislators, appeared on TV, wrote letters, and demanded action. Her cerebral palsy made speech difficult, but nothing dulled her message. Her power came from relentless honesty and unfiltered conviction. And I think she always remembered those that were left behind in the institutions.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like my siblings, when my siblings, one died there, but the other one got out. And I
Hmm.
always, even before I knew about disability rights or anything, I always felt horrible for those left behind. And I think a lot of people forget that. There
Oh
are
yeah.
many people still in institutions wanting to get out, and
Yeah, and
there's little funding to do it.
and,
So
and
I think
and
a lot of her legacy is from that institutionalization,
yeah, and may I share quickly a brief about how I met Marie for the first time?
Sure.
All right, I met Marie through my work with my current employers, CCDD, and I was blown away, man. She and her advocacy. I'm like, wow, and I learned so much through her. Through what she went through, and you know, we I know there are days, I'll complain, I might bitch a little bit, but my God, she went through hell. She went through hell and back, and she persevered.
Yeah, and
So
I remember, if another advocate saying she had ran out of places. If you
hmm
raise hell, it can hurt you when you need to move to a different nursing home. Or, you know what I mean? You burn some
yeah,
bridges, and
yeah,
she took that. She did that. I mean, she didn't care.
hmm
She was relentless in that way to the bitter end. But yeah, I mean, she was an amazing person. I admire her. So, and Frankfurt State Hospital. My siblings were on a list from the mid '60s for Frankfurt State Hospital, and it was a snake pit. I mean, it was horrible. There could be a whole book written on Frankfurt State Hospital alone. That's why we documented that at
oh, I know.
the historic institutions. Because we can't allow that to happen again. And I think, I
No,
don't
we
know how we
cannot.
can find out, but I think more and more people are being institutionalized, especially as we lose Medicaid coverage. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
force people, and the institutions are half full or half empty, however you want to look at that. But
Yep.
we have to keep a close eye on that because I think this is going to, the way everything has changed politically, for people with disabilities, it's going to hurt them in more ways than one. And all of us are at risk of institutionalization. If we become disabled from a stroke or whatever, or a car accident, and we can't
Mm-hmm.
take care of ourselves, we're going to end up in the institution.
Oh yeah, we're no one's immune from it. I mean, all these people that it ain't gonna happen to me. Just watch, you never know.
Believe me, I've had so much illness over the last 25 years that disabled me, but then I got a reprieve and bounced back, then another one would hit me. I mean,
Hmm.
you've got to have a lot of resilience to be disabled because it's rough. Because you know what? People don't care if you can't see. People can't see that you can't
No,
see.
they don't.
I learned that when I was temporarily blind. They could care less. I mean, I don't mean it that way, but like you'll
Yeah.
be
Oh yeah, they don't. They don't
you'll
care.
be like,
And
well, I can't see. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, and when
you don't
I
want to say I can't see, but you're like, I can't see it.
yeah, like when my vision went from 2400 to what it is now. Oh damn, nice. Oh shit, not good. But yeah, when my vision went from 2400 to what it is now, it was an eye opener. I mean, I'm like, I can't see that anymore. I have to be more of an advocate. And Marie and what I learned from her has helped me as far as standing up for yourself. Don't let anyone knock you down. So okay, so what happened next in
Okay,
this?
it's a good story, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So
Thank
what happened
you.
next?
Okay, she spoke to legislators, appeared on, I think I said this, but
Yeah, you did.
uh, so basically her power came from relentless honesty and unfiltered conviction. In March of 2004, journalist David Wecker wrote they signed up for committees, they were elected to the boards, they wrote letters to their congressmen, their state representatives, and mayor. They found out where various resources were and they used them. Marie says she was an advocate before she knew she was an advocate. Marie was also a storyteller. In her manuscript, Anyway, My Stories of Advancement and Advocacy, transcribed by her longtime friend Vicki Kemperich, Marie tells her story, her life story in raw human detail, from being pushed around in a banana box as a toddler to learning the names of her rights. Her story is one of resilience. Don't let people tell you you can't do it, she said. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Marie never stopped. Even in her final days, she wasn't worried about herself. In a final conversation with Jeff Edwards, she expressed fear, not of dying, but of Medicare cuts, Medicaid cuts, P&A funding losses, and the threat of institutionalization returning. That's just what we talked about.
Yep.
P&A
Oh
is
yeah.
unfunded, the Medicaid's cut,
Hmm.
and returning to we have always worried about returning to institutionalization because we never totally deinstitutionalized the institutions. That's
Right.
a misconception. Everybody thinks Reagan threw everybody out on the street and it's all his fault. A lot of people didn't even get out of the institutions,
No, they didn't.
and they're still there to this day. It hurts my heart. I can't even walk into an institution or a jail even because they're all institutions and they're really
Right.
jails. They're just jails. You cannot just leave when you want to leave.
Right.
You can't even leave, period. And it's hard to get somebody out of an institution once they're in there.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, I'm sorry, but
It's all good.
so she said to Jeff Edwards, "Who do I need to call?" She asked. She still wanted to fight because she was a fighter. Once you're a fighter, you're always going to be a
Oh
fighter.
yeah. Oh yeah. She was a hell of a fighter for sure.
That's why I said at the end of my life, don't let me decide because I'm going to fight them. For your if you want your end of life stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I wrote down what I
Yeah.
wanted, but I'll fight somebody, especially in a hospital setting, because that's another institution where you
Oh
don't have
yeah.
under control.
Hmm.
So anyway, Marie passed away May 31st of this year. She leaves behind a legacy written not just in speeches and statutes, but in the freedoms now enjoyed by Kentuckians with disabilities. Freedoms she fought for when they were not guaranteed. She is survived by her brother Leonard, her sister-in-law Mary Braun Oss, her beloved friend of 60 years Vicki Kempridge, and a wide network of nieces, nephews, and advocates whose lives she changed. To honor Marie, we must continue her work. Call your senators and representatives. Tell them how Medicaid lets you live independently. Explain why special education must be protected. Remind them why Kentucky protection and advocacy exists. When my siblings were institutionalized, that was right before protection and advocacy in Kentucky was formed. So, you know,
Right.
they missed it. They just had bad luck all the way around, you
Yeah,
know.
they did. So now we've talked about Marie's story. Before we get
Wait,
into
I'm not done yet.
there's more. Let's
There's a
please,
little bit
please,
more. I'm almost
please
at the
indulge me, please.
end. Okay. Yeah. So, be loud, be clear, and be relentless, just like Marie. And I am like Marie because I'm relentless, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
loud, and I pissed off a lot of people, and I bet she did
Mm-hmm.
too. But that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. At least they're feeling something.
Mm-hmm.
Because Marie didn't just teach us how to be advocates; she showed us what it means to be fully, beautifully human. Marie Braun, 1953 to 2025, self-advocate, storyteller, fighter, friend. Quote, disabled people are human like everyone else. They have the same wants and desires and want acceptance in society. Marie Braun quote. So,
Mm.
and actually, someone is working on a book for the people like Arthur. Well, Arthur won't be in it. Arthur's got his own book coming up. They're
Mm-hmm.
helping him with that. But this book includes people that were in the institutions too, or from Frankfurt State Hospital and got out and their stories. So they're going
Mm.
to include Marie in that book. And
Nice.
I really, really push for this stuff because we have to preserve this stuff. You know, that's why we did the website on Kentucky Historic Institutions, and that's
Right.
www.kyhi.org.
Right.
And Marie's story's there too if you want to read it.
Right. And real briefly, if I may, for those who will be watching over on YouTube, I will have the KYHI website in the description.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. So, Marie, I have a kinship with Marie because I basically become a historian and preservationist with disability in Kentucky. And I look back, and I'm astonished where we are because we were doing so good getting our rights, getting everything passed.
Oh, I
And
know.
I had no idea somebody could come in and just wipe it all out.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody really saw this coming.
No, we didn't. I mean, none of us did. And, you know, they talk about all these great things about, AI, which is awesome. It's greatly helped me in my work and in, my personal, life outside of work. And it's going to be a great thing in the future. But, for someone just to come in, wipe all that away, and then look at where we're at, look at what's going to be back, where we're back at. We're back at square one almost.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to rebuild it. I think we talked about that a little bit, but they're wiping so
Mhm.
much out. We're still waiting to see. It's not done. It's not over yet. We don't know because I don't think P&A got refunded yet, nor UKHDI. And the P&A is not just Kentucky, are using funds they have had, in
Mhm.
reserve. But that's
Mhm.
only going to last so long.
Right. And once they're up, they're up. I mean, you know, but I fear. I'm going to be very real here. I fear for our country. as a content creator, streamer, individual advocate with disability, I fear for what's coming next.
I do too, Tim. I really do. And you know what? There's nowhere to run because I was going to go over to Canada. I got everything ready for my passport because I thought if I had to, I could get, because we are targetable because we advocate for people with disabilities. You work, you know,
Hmm.
within the field, and I utilize my social media every day in some capacity to advocate for people with disabilities or educate people about what's going on. Uh,
Right.
so
Check
I could
mine's
be a
book.
target just
Description.
for what I
Check
do
mark.
on X.
Send a
I
message.
mean,
Finger.
I'm
End.
never.
Legend.
But
Activity.
you know what I mean. We could all be
Send a
targets.
check
I'm not even
mark.
going to go
Eyes.
into
Check
it.
on
But
badge. Description. Press escape. Moderator badge. Welcome to the
so
chat room.
Canada
Description.
will let
Legend.
some people
Action.
come and live there, but they
Hmm.
really don't want old disabled people. You know what I mean? We're
Oh
not
wow.
cities. So I was going to go over there and visit and check it out. And now I'm like, forget that. So what we've talked about doing on Twitter, and I'm not the only one, but I'm thinking we're going to have to do an underground railroad for people to hide
Hmm.
them from Trump. But if he's targeting them, we got to have a place to keep
Oh
people
yeah, just like the slaves back in the day. Oh yeah.
exactly like that. That's exactly it. And that's scary to think about that we're regressing back that far in history.
Alarm clock. 21 8 open
I
widget.
hope it doesn't come to that. The other thing is,
Check all
we need to be
papers.
able to communicate if the grid goes down because he's controlling everything.
Messages. Description.
He could take the
Screen
grid
share.
down.
Oh, we got a viewer.
Messages.
Hey viewer, what's up? Welcome to our live stream. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if things go to hell, we gotta keep up to date. I mean, and I was thinking of this earlier. We got AI is so great, right? And I was talking to my friend Kyra Super Saiyan about this. AI is awesome. We do a lot of great things with it. But won't that cut into the employment piece as well in a way? For like I can just use AI to just get my stuff the way I need it, but like let's say a person with a disability, just hypothetical, wants to go into like game design or art or something like that, wouldn't AI kind of cut into that employment space in a way? Just figured I would inquire to get your thoughts.
I can't hear her.
Kentucky Blue Blood, you there?
I'm here. I can't hear the caller.
No, no, that was a voiceover you just heard.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I
I was.
couldn't hear it. Whatever
Oh,
it was.
that was the voiceover. We just got a view, but
Okay.
I was gonna ask. We got AI, which we do great things with it in our respective ways. But let's let's say someone wants to go into say game design or music or art or something like that. Wouldn't that kind of cut into that employment space in a way by taking jobs? You think?
That's a possibility.
Me and my friend Kyra Super Saiyan were talking about that, and she was like, "If you're going to talk AI, you might want to do." And yeah, it is. It could very well happen. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah, we got to plan for the future here. We got to plan for what's going to come because we don't know what our certain president's going to do.
Right, and he's sick and disabled himself. He just acts like he isn't. I don't even know how he's getting up every day walking. He's got some serious medical issues and mental issues going on.
Hmm. Oh
But,
yeah.
we can't control that. So that's the one thing I've learned. You have to,
Right.
like, focus on what you can control and what you can do positively and try to stay positive because it's rough. People are, I can't even imagine. My heart goes out to everybody that, can't afford groceries. I saw so many homeless people when I drove out yesterday standing there asking for money with this sign, and some of them were from foreign countries. Like, you know what I mean? They looked Iranian, Arabic, something like that. I saw several of
Oh
them.
yeah. It's sad. I mean, come on. I mean, we as a nation can do better. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's cut food stamps, and if you're foreign, you don't get nothing anyway. I mean, they're trying to act like the Democrats give them health care. We don't give them health care. They don't qualify for Medicaid. Medicaid's hard to get. Everybody thinks everything's so.
Oh yeah.
Actually, any kind of benefits, the state and government make you jump through so many hoops to get any kind of food stamp, any kind of help, any kind of help.
Oh, I know. Um.
So they've cut so much, so we're going to see more homeless people. We're going to see more institutionalized people. And the one
Hmm.
thing, I'm involved with ADAPT, and I've had a couple Zoom meetings for Kentucky ADAPT Kentucky. And some of the people from other parts of the country, particularly on the East Coast, they seem to be more progressive. I've always thought that. But they're doing where disabled people are helping each other that are losing their in-home care and stuff like that. And that
Hmm.
could work because people, when they get ill, like me, sometimes I need help, I can't get it, which I mean, so far so good. But that would
Right.
have helped me enormously if you could trade off when you're well enough, you could help somebody, but
Yeah.
really, it's a program. I can't remember the name of it, but
Hmm.
it's basically where people are helping each other, and regardless of the system.
Right.
So people are, thinking of ways to help people with disabilities stay in their home, and that's one of the ways they could do it.
Hmm.
But
Because we need.
I'd be
We.
terrified if I needed somebody to come in and change my diaper and stuff and feed me where I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, can you imagine for those people?
Oh, I know. And those that are in the institutions, it's even worse because how do you know they don't care? All they will care about is a paycheck.
They get abused in the institution. That's never stopped. Then they get
Yeah.
raped. They get
Oh
sexually
yeah.
assaulted. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. They get SA. They get R. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? They can't call anybody. A lot of them can't even talk. They have a captive audience. So I hate it, because and my whole thing is I'm trying to stay out of the nursing home because that to me would be almost as bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've heard some horror stories about them places. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go to the minutia here, but I've heard some stories. I'm like, oh god,
They're putting people with mental illness in nursing homes, and that's not supposed to happen.
no, it's not.
And how do you know? That's why we need P&A. You can't just walk into nursing homes, unless you're P&A or somebody that's allowed to just, not just the nursing homes. I mean, I could probably get in a nursing home, but it would be hard. Uh, but I have quite a bit of experience with nursing homes. But, like in the institutions, I can't get in the institutions. Like I was going to do voting for disabled people. I
Hmm.
can't just go into the psych world. I call it psych world. They're not going to let me go into any, psych units.
No, they're not. And
But they will let P&A in these places. P&A is the only one that can really get in it, or the state, somebody from the state, as
right.
far as to monitor the abuse and stuff. But the other thing I learned about the state, which I find incredibly interesting, people that are in institutions, they chart everything. They chart the abuse. They just don't tell the parents, or the family that it happened in those cases unless
Yeah,
they
they keep it
hurt
hush hush.
physically. I mean, that was
Yeah.
helpful to read a lot of the institution documents on my brother and sister. But I threw them away. I probably shouldn't have, because now I have an appointment with the library. They want all the historical documents I have, and I threw a bunch of them away because I didn't know what to do with it.
Oh no.
But I saved enough, like to show they were restraining them 16 hours a day.
Right.
16 freaking hours a day.
That's no, no, no. That ain't cool. That's wow. That's bullshit.
And my mom and dad had no idea. That's what I'm saying. They don't, and you know what? They used to let the parents think Frankfurt State Hospital was a training school, like that it was going to help their kids. Like a lot of these people institutionalized their kids thinking it would help them, and then they got abused and killed and restrained and hosed down and everything else.
Hmm.
killing babies in there. There shouldn't even have been a baby in there because my research indicated they wouldn't take, like my brothers and sisters, they had to be over the age of 6 because they mixed adults with children in that institution.
Hmm.
And that should have never happened either.
And you know, you mentioned how she saw the baby get murdered. Would you, man, if that would have been me, that would give. Yeah, I mean, that would be a cause for COP for
But I don't think it was a
PTSD. I mean,
baby because they
oh,
wouldn't have, I think she meant a little child. You know what I mean? Because you could,
maybe.
they didn't admit people under the age of 6.
Right, but still, I mean, God, that would give me PTSD and nightmares and
Oh yeah,
shit.
well yeah, because she could barely talk, and who's gonna listen to her? She's on the inside.
Right, they're not going to believe her.
But
And
thank God she gave testimony to that because people don't believe this stuff happens in the institute. And I've been briefly in a psych unit. It's horrible in there too. I mean, all kinds of stuff happens that you wouldn't think should.
oh, I know.
So I always felt like that. You go undercover sometimes just to see, like, to
Hmm.
witness what people are going through. So even though I hated that, I had a brief. And what happened? And here's how they entrap you. I went in. I needed a refill on my prescription because you can go into
Hmm.
seizures and stuff if you just go without it.
Right.
Well, instead of just giving me my medicine and sending me on my way, no, no, no. They put me in a clinical trial for Copamax, which I didn't even know what
Hmm.
all that was.
Hmm.
I was a commit. They turned it into a 72-hour hold and held me against my will and put that medicine in me, cold turkeyed me off my other medicine. I didn't even know my address when I left. It was like a lobotomy.
Oh
So,
shit.
and then I saw all kinds of shit in there going on. Oh, not shit, but you know what I mean.
Oh
And then
God.
nobody can find out you're there or get a hold of you. You know what I mean? You're locked in.
Yeah, they
And
don't know you're on the inside. They think all is well, and I remember I was listening to a meeting, doing my work, doing my notes, and then legislators were like, "Oh wow," because they don't know until you tell them.
oh, tried to testify against forced commitments because I wasn't even a forced commitment, but they turned it into a forced commitment because they wouldn't let me leave or they put me on a 72-hour hold.
Hmm.
72-hour hold are for people that are danger to self or others,
Right,
for people just needing their prescription refills.
right.
And they once you have a mentally ill label, who's going to believe you? Like I
They
couldn't
won't.
sue the hospital. How am I going to sue the hospital? I couldn't even get. I tried to get an attorney to call me while I was in there. Attorney ain't going to call you in the psych unit.
No, they're not. So
So
Kentucky Blue Blood.
yeah.
All right, I got a question. What legacy do you want to leave behind for future advocates and future individuals with disabilities that will be after us?
Well, you know,
Sorry.
I feel like I do have some kind of legacy because I was one of the people that got the disability. Basically, that stuff on the website is our history, disability history. So the fact that I got that done because I tried to get the DAR to do that, I tried to
Hmm.
get PNA to do that. Nobody wanted to do that. So the fact 4 researchers did want to do it and got it done. It's very professional, and they're starting to use some of our work in articles and stuff. But that's part of my legacy, and just the fact that I went kicking and screaming all the way, like
Oh
Marie.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Raising hell, doing what you got to do. That's what I'm gonna, And for me, I'm gonna answer this question too. I'm a bit of a younger advocate, but as an advocate who's also into the content creation space, the gaming space, the streaming space, now who has only light perception, I want to leave a legacy behind of good accessibility, good advocacy, and I want to give a shout out to someone who, um, I want to give a shout out to, you all knew him as Super Blind Man, the late great Brandon Cole. He started the work on the video game accessibility space. He started to work on it, and by God, in my own way, I'm going to continue it in my own way by advocating for these, companies and developers to make their product accessible to everybody. And I also am not only in that space, but anything that I feel needs to be talked about in that space, by God, I'm going to talk about it. That's what you're going to get from me. That's my legacy I want to leave behind. And you can watch my vlogs on my shelter to competitive integrated employment, my public school experience, and all that to kind of get a feel for my life story. But for me, I want to leave behind a legacy of accessibility, advocacy, and just to be remembered as someone who, if you need help with something like what I'm doing now, you could come to your boy Blind Metal Gamer and he'll help you out. Isn't that right, Kentucky Blue Blood?
Yeah, and I think that'll be part of your legacy. Your streaming and you contacting all those people. So that's a good legacy. And a part of my legacy, whether I like it or not, is the institutions and restraints. And those are two hard topics to advocate for.
Oh yeah, I mean because you have to endure some real hardcore shit to have to relive it, and I'm lucky. I consider myself very lucky. We're on two ends of the spectrum here. You had to experience with your family, that type of a thing with your siblings, you know, not having, them and they were had to go through that. Whereas me, I never went to an institution unless you would consider the school for the blind an institution.
Well, it's a different kind of institution. I mean, it's a school, it's a real school.
Right,
It's
it's
like
accredited.
Stanford State Hospital.
Right, Frankfurt State Hospital was not real. They just branded it that to make you think it was real, and then
Right, they put these really nice names on these places and they're not nice.
but KSB, and I want to give a shout out to them, and I want to say real quick, thank you to all my teachers who taught me and educated me in the realm of screen readers to help me do what I do today, both personally and professionally. And I wish KSB many more years of prosperity. So,
What
Kentucky
what
Blue Book.
what year were they incepted? The School for the Blind. What year did they open?
Well, they originally opened in 1839 under the name the Kentucky Educational Institution for Students who are blind and visually impaired. And then in 1842, they became the Kentucky School for the Blind.
1842.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize they were that old. That's
Uh,
exceptional. But they said they gave Helen Keller a lot of credit for because the blind people get a lot more Social Security and stuff.
Yeah,
And
Helen Keller was one of the ones that got that going.
that, and also because I asked my friend who's blind, I'm like, why do they get more? And she said, because they've had better advocacy. But if the School for the Blind's been around since the 1800s, that's why they had better advocacy.
Yeah, and KSB, they would talk, things like, finances, and all this. When you went to KSB, you came out of there and you were going to be very successful as an adult because they taught you everything you needed to know to do what you had to do.
That's exceptional. That's what
And
all
that's
schools should be doing.
and now, did you know the KSB has been accredited since 1935?
Wow, that's
Yes,
great.
yes. Before then they weren't accredited, but they got accredited in 1935, and they have been accredited ever since. And I'm telling you, a lot of talented kids are coming out of that place, and they're
Oh
doing a lot
yeah,
of great
yeah.
things. And I'm damn proud to be one of them. I
You are
didn't
one of
graduate
them.
there, but I'm proud to be a KSB alumni and a KSB Wildcat. So, Kentucky Blue Blood, before we wrap up, what would you want to say to the people that are going to be watching on YouTube on demand that might be looking at this and saying, hey, what can I do? What could my legacy be?
I would encourage everyone to get involved in their state with the agencies that serve people with disabilities because even if you don't need it now, you're going to need it later, or someone in your family will. And I don't think there's any more honorable of a cause. And I've dedicated my life to advocating for people with disabilities, and I'm honored and humbled to be able to do it. So I encourage you to do that because they need us. Every one of them need us because they don't have a level playing field, and most people don't know it. Growing up
Right.
with three siblings with severe disabilities, I had no idea about all this, nor did my parents. And that was and there's still parents out there like that. There's still parents that have their kids putting restraints in the schools. There's parents out there that don't know about PNA, people with disabilities. They don't know about CCDD. They don't know about the School for the Blind.
Right.
So we need to know, and that's why we left a lot of the history.
Right.
And I wanted to connect the past to the present, and they wouldn't let me do it, which I get, but it kind of hurt my feelings because we need to look at our progression.
Yeah, we do. We need to. And, because we're not going to be able to plan for the future unless we know what had came before it.
Well, and also look at what, Mattingly Edge, I'm just like Mattingly Edge and The Point are the two stellar agencies in our state that you see results all the time, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
first class. I mean, they're running first class operations.
Yeah, they're totally doing their thing. They're
So, but if
crushing
you
it.
look at where they started, they evolved. If you look at New Perceptions, which is a sheltered workshop, they're still
Hmm.
the same as they were 30, 40, 50 years ago when my brother went there. They haven't evolved. They're still keeping people in sheltered workshops, which, is the
Hmm.
14C certificates paying sub minimum wage.
Right, which has been around since 1938.
Well, see, that's why they were afraid of getting sued if I put all that history on the
Oh,
website.
by God, I'll put it out there.
Because
Come
I
after
did an
me, buddy
article
boy.
on on new perceptions to show that, and I sometimes get help with AI, and AI was like telling them they better get with it and get into the 21st
Yes,
century.
they do. They need to.
So I
Because,
put that in the group because they wouldn't put it on the website, but it's an excellent article and showing their progression. That's what I was going to do: write everybody's history and where they are now,
mhm.
and put that on the website.
Right, and it needs to be done.
But
That needs to
they
be
won't
done.
let me. So we need to get it out in another way because we do need to look at that. That's how you get better. You have to look at your past and try to improve on it and grow. We got to grow this.
Right.
There's a half a million. There's 874,000 people with disabilities, and that's a low number. And
Yeah, it is.
we're not reaching everybody. That's what bothers me with a lot of these boards I've served on. It's the same
Mhm.
old people sitting in the same old seats. A lot of them sit on the same
Yeah,
boards.
it's the same
No,
old thing.
that's all wrong. They shouldn't be able to sit on multiple boards at the same time. Number one. Number two, we need to give new people a chance on these councils.
Yeah, we need fresh faces. We need young faces. We need, these younger advocates like, that are there doing their thing in their 20s and 30s that, you know, that are can okay, embrace the technology, embrace like the streaming and all that for content creation. Embrace AI because that's where we're headed. That's the platforms that we're headed on. So, Kentucky Blue Blood, before we take this thing home, you got anything you want to say? Any advice you want to give to anyone who might be watching this or listening that might be interested in streaming or anything like that as a disabled person?
Well, like I said, get into these groups, on Facebook that are disability related for your state. Like the pages of the people. Adapt is excellent. National Adapt. Everybody should be involved in Adapt in some way, shape, or form because they're the ones that got us accessible sidewalks, accessible McDonald's,
Hmm.
the curb cuts, things we take for granted. People died for and fought for.
Oh yeah. Um.
So, you know, be nice, be kind to people.
Yes.
And I
And
also want to thank you, Tim, because I think the first time I met you was I remember us sitting in the Capitol lunchroom. Remember
mhm.
that?
Yeah, and then we went through KPIP together.
Hmm. And I got to know you. And by getting to know people with other disabilities, it helps you understand their disabilities. Like my blind people friends taught me
Mm.
so much about being blind, and then I was blind myself for a short time, so that really helped me in being able to know how to get resources because it's hard to get blind resources.
Oh
Blind,
yeah, it's
blind
not easy.
businesses, not resources. Uh, because sometimes that's why you need other advocates. It's hard to know where the resources are because they're
Oh,
limited. You
oh
know, they're
yeah, oh
limited.
yeah,
So
oh yeah.
I love my other advocate friends. That's the most important thing because not everybody understands the work we do because it's
Right.
complex, it's complicated.
Oh yeah.
My nephew
So,
said to me, I don't know exactly what it is you're doing, but I know it's important. That's what he said.
oh wow. All right. So before we wrap up, I do want to let everybody know, for those on the YouTube side who will be watching when this premieres, I will be putting the link to kyhi.org in the description for if you want to check that out. Also, be sure to leave a comment. And I want to ask a question for everybody in the comment section who's going to watch on YouTube. Here's your question: what legacy do you want to leave behind? What legacy do you want to leave behind for the future to look back on and say, hey, either I was a good streamer, I was a good creator, I was a good advocate, I was a good whatever, parent, uncle, family member, friend. So, what's your legacy? Give that some thought. Leave it in the comment section below, and let's have a good, meaningful conversation. So, Kentucky Blue Blood, you want to say something before we wrap up?
I just want to say keep the faith and keep resisting because we're in this together and we need to really stick together. And I love you all.
Yes, we do. Yeah, keep your faith. Uh, say with God or whatever or whoever you believe in, religious wise. And by God, if you're into metal, keep the metal coming and let's fight the good fight and let's do what we got to do and keep this advocacy rolling and growing and let's keep this going so we can have a better future so we will not be damned to the condemnation of the past. So, with that being said, for Kentucky Blue Blood, I want to say thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Tim. It's my
Hey,
pleasure.
as always, you're always welcome here on this platform. So, for Kentucky Blue Blood, I've been Blind Metal Gamer saying so long, stay safe, and peace out.